Warning, this video contains spoiler alerts.
In this series, we'll be looking at every movie in the Godzilla franchise, from 1954 to 2024, and learn about the many monsters who were introduced. The Godzilla franchise comprises of 33 official Japanese movies, 5 official US adaptations, and 5 other movies for Rodan and Mothra. For those not familiar with the events and characters in the franchise, this series will help you get familiar with them. Now for the 10th movie of the franchise, All Monsters Attack, 1969. It started with 2 young children, Ichiro and Sachiko, traveling home together from school. They lived in the industrial city of Kawasaki. They walked alongside a busy highway and met other children who rushed past him. One of them pushed Ichiro aside and mocked him before leaving with the others. Ichiro was a fan of Monster Island and thought that a passing car sounded a lot like Minilla. While they were walking along a railway towards home, a train passed by and Ichiro's father was on it. He told Ichiro that he would not be home tonight during work and told him to be a good boy until his mother got home. The train drove past them and Ichiro was a bit upset. He kicked a rock into the bushes below a fence and found something shiny. He took it with him. At the end of the railway, Ichiro's father, Kenichi, and another train engineer talk about Ichiro and saw an article in the newspaper about the police finding the car some bank robbers used to escape. Ichiro and Sachiko saw an old building and Ichiro wanted to explore it. But there were other children there who surrounded him and bullied him into giving them the vacuum tube he found. Ichiro got upset and left while they were making fun of him and calling him a baby. When Ichiro walked back onto the streets, a police car passed by and the officers were told to return to get a new assignment based on the 2 escaped suspects from the robbery reported in the papers. Ichiro returned home and went to see his neighbor, Shinpei, who was a toy maker. Shinpei had made a small computer for children so they could go to places they wanted to go. Ichiro was not interested in the moon and would rather go to Monster Island instead. He said that Godzilla, Rodan, and Minilla were all tougher than Gabara, a big kid who bullied him. Ichiro then left but heard Shinpei yell in pain. He accidentally stepped on one of his tools that he forgot was on. Ichiro then went to his apartment and saw a note from his mother on a chalkboard telling him to do his homework before he played. It also said that there was cake for him in the cupboard. Ichiro took the cake and turned on the TV to see them discussing the robbers who stole 50 million yen in a bank robbery yesterday. He was not interested in the news report and changed the channel. But a soap opera was on. He turned the TV off and went to a closet to take out a device. He turned it on and asked the computer how to get to Monster Island. It showed a plane that was taking off and Ichiro was on it. It was filled with other passengers and staff, but then they disappeared. Ichiro went into the pilot's cockpit and saw Monster Island. He then appeared on the island and saw Godzilla fighting 3 Kamakuras. 2 were defeated and 1 escaped. Ichiro went to explore the island and climbed a tree. He saw Gorosaurus, Manda, Anguirus, and the giant condor. The giant condor started attacking Godzilla, but was knocked away. He grabbed Godzilla's tail, but was knocked away. He fled but Godzilla blasted him with his atomic breath, causing him to crash and fall into the sea in flames. Ichiro then ran into the Kamakuras who escaped from Godzilla and fell into a cave while trying to run away. Kamakuras could not reach him from so far down and left him there. Ichiro tried to climb out but could not. He then saw a rope was lowered for him and was pulled out of the hole. He saw that it was Minilla. Minilla called him over and wanted to know why he came to Monster Island. Ichiro said that he wanted to see him. Then Gabara came and Minilla hid himself and Ichiro. Ichiro then realized that him and Minilla were the same and had their own Gabara to deal with. Everything then faded away when the phone rang. Shinpei answered and told Ichiro's mother that he was asleep. Ichiro's mother, Tomiko, had to work late again. Two detectives came to get information on the two robbers who escaped and informed them that the robbers were hiding somewhere in the neighborhood. Shinpei then went to wake Ichiro up so they can have dinner, but Ichiro said that he was just about to meet Godzilla. Ichiro did not understand why both his parents had to be gone tonight and tried to go back to sleep to see Minilla. But he could not sleep. He then went outside to play and saw the bullies again. He turned away and ran to an old abandoned factory to explore it. While inside, he found another vacuum tube, a headset, and a wallet. The two robbers were actually hiding inside one of the lockers on the third floor. Ichiro then left after hearing sirens go off. The two robbers got out of the lockers and one of them went after Ichiro to get the wallet back since one of their driver's license was in it. Ichiro went to play with the broken car parked outside, but a neighbor stopped him. The robber was still spying on him and watched him go inside. Ichiro used his device again, using the headphones he found, and tried to call Monster Island. He had dinner with Shinpei and two detectives came to tell Shinpei to make sure the car he was trying to sell was locked because the robbers were still at large. In the abandoned factory, the two robbers decided to make their move tonight. Ichiro then fell asleep and was on Monster Island again. He saw Gabara appear and ran away. He found Minilla and Minilla wanted to know why he came back. Ichiro said that he liked it here and wanted to see Godzilla. But Minilla was not sure if they could find Godzilla since he was looking for him to teach him how to fight his own battles. They then heard Godzilla and found him in a fight against Ebirah. Minilla tried to cheer him on and Godzilla kicked a loose chunk of rock at Ebirah, who knocks it back at him. Godzilla threw the rock back, but Ebirah knocked it back again. The rock kept going back and forth between them until Ebirah threw it away and landed close to Minilla and Ichiro. Godzilla got into the water to fight Ebirah and Minilla decided that they should move further away from the splashing. Godzilla used his atomic breath of Ebirah, slammed him into the water, and kept beating him with his tail. Ebirah then dragged him into the water and kept fighting him. But Godzilla ripped off Ebirah's claw and made him flee. Ichiro and Minilla cheered Godzilla on for his victory and followed him to see where he was going. They found him heading towards Kumanga. Kumanga started spraying Godzilla with silk and Godzilla knocked him over with a rock. Godzilla tried to time when Kumanga was going to spray him but got hit in the eye. Minilla snuck over to try to help when Kumanga got back up and blew one atomic ring at him. He then went to hide further in the jungle with Ichiro when Kumanga started spraying in their direction. They watched the rest of the fight and Godzilla kept using his atomic breath. Godzilla got pinned down with the silk but used his atomic breath to get free and tip Kumanga over. While Minilla and Ichiro celebrated, Gabara then showed up. Ichiro told him that they should run, but Minilla did not want to be seen as a coward in front of Godzilla. He stepped away from Ichiro and returned to his normal size. He blew atomic rings at Gabara, but it was not a powerful and steady blast like Godzilla's. He tried to tackle Gabara, but he was smaller than him and got thrown around. Minilla then shrunk again to Ichiro's size and they run away. Gabara then left. When they got to a safe distance, they saw fighter jets passing over the island. Godzilla saw the jets and they started attacking him. He destroyed the jets as they flew close to him. After the fight, he spotted Minilla and beckoned him to come closer. Minilla did not want to go train, but he decided that he should. He returned to his normal size and went over to Godzilla. Godzilla then started training him on how to use his atomic breath so he could fight. Ichiro watched them. Minilla tried to release his atomic breath, but kept getting a single ring to come out. Godzilla got annoyed and stepped on Manilla's tail to get a powerful and steady blast of atomic breath out to destroy the rock. Godzilla was proud of that blast. The dream was then interrupted when the robbers kidnapped Ichiro and took him back to the abandoned factory. One kept an eye on him while the other went to hijack the car Shinpei was trying to sell. Shinpei went to check on Ichiro, but thought that he was still asleep since the door was locked and no one answered. He went to a late-night noodle shop and met the two detectives. Ichiro decided to escape to Monster Island and found Minilla in a fight with Gabara. Gabara cornered Minilla and held onto his head, shocking him with an electric current powered by the crystal on his head. After he stunned Minilla, he punched him. Ichino tried to get Minilla to get up, but he was still stunned. Ichiro then pushed a rock onto Manilla's tail, which caused him to release a blast of atomic energy right into Gabara's face. Minilla used his small size and Gabara's weakness to his advantage and ran over to Godzilla. Godzilla was nearby and Minilla went over to him to get his help. But he pushed Minilla back so he could finish the fight. Minilla tried to roar like Godzilla and went to fight Gabara. But he was still getting pushed around and shocked. Godzilla used his atomic breath to help get Minilla free by burning Gabara's feet. Minilla bit Gabara on his arm but was pushed away. He tried to get away, but Gabara followed him and Godzilla went after them. Ichiro called Minilla over and told him of his plan to use a tree to catapult Gabara away. When Gabara stepped onto a fallen tree in front of them, Minilla jumped down and sent Gabara flying into a nearby patch of jungle, stunned from what happened. Godzilla saw and came to congratulate Minilla in his victory. But Gabara bit Godzilla when he got closer. Godzilla punched Gabara and stomped on him. They continued fighting and Godzilla pulled Minilla away to stay out of the fight. Gabara used his electric current to shock Godzilla but was slammed into the ground. Gabara then fled, leaving Minilla alone. Godzilla then sought Ichiro and went over to him. But he got scared and was woken up by one of the robbers. They tied his hands and covered his mouth with handkerchiefs and took him into the car. Ichiro then heard Manilla's voice telling him that Godzilla always said that they had to fight their own battles and not be cowards. Ichiro then escaped from his bindings and got out of the car. The robbers tried to block him, but he bit one of them the same way Minilla bit Gabara. He hid inside the abandoned factory and the robbers looked all over for him. Shinpei then came to the abandoned factory and saw his car on with the bag of cash on the driver's seat. He went to a phone booth to call the police. Ichiro covered a hole in the floor with newspaper and one of the robbers fell through it. He used the distraction to escape and used a fire extinguisher to mimic Manilla's atomic breath against Gabara. The police then arrived and Ichiro led the robbers out of the building. They were arrested and Ichiro was safe with Shinpei. In the morning, Ichiro was having breakfast with his mother who was sorry that she had to work last night and could have prevented it. He left the apartment and met some reporters. They asked him if he was scared, but he said that he was not because Minilla was there. Shinpei clarified that the same way children look up to adults was the same way Ichiro looked up to monsters as his protector. On his way to school, Ichiro met Sachiko, but their path was blocked by Senko Gabara and his gang of friends who bullied him. Ichiro refused to do as Senko said and tackled him to the ground. He then went to the billboard painter's bike and played with its horn. The billboard painter tried to stop him but fell over with the bucket of paint landing on his face. Ichiro ran away and the others laughed and escaped through the fence. He told his father to stop the man so he could get away. The others joined Ichiro further away and they all went to school together. This movie was a weird one to watch, and it was nice seeing Minilla actually doing something on screen again. I'm not sure how good animation was in the 1960s, but this movie would have made much more sense if it was animated, since this was targeted for younger audiences on the topic of bullying. I mean, Minilla was talking. Not many people liked this movie because it was not what they expected. I can understand what Toho was trying to do though. This was the peak of the Showa era and everyone knew Godzilla. So the director wanted to address a real-world issue regarding children and have the franchise reach younger audiences. Bullying would always be a problem among children and many franchises try to send messages about it. But to the other fans, this movie would not be that appealing, especially when it is talking monsters and reused stock footage from Ibira, Horror of the Deep, 1966, and Son of Godzilla, 1967. All Monsters Attack, or Godzilla's Revenge, is about a young boy who battles loneliness and bullying while also learning from the example of Minilla, who was also being bullied by Gabara. For me, this movie would be low down on the list. Godzilla was just a supporting character in the story, and 5 of the battles Godzilla had were from different movies. They reused the battle scenes between Godzilla and Ibira, Godzilla and the Giant Condor, and the Red Bamboo's fighter jet attack from Ibira, Horror of the Deep, 1966. And the battle scenes between Godzilla and the 3 Kamakuras and Godzilla and Kumonga were from Son of Godzilla, 1967. Fans can watch it if they want, but the movie is more canon than official despite being on the list. This aspect of the story introduces us to Gabara. In the next movie, we'll be introduced to Adora, a monster who feeds on pollution. Be sure to like and subscribe for more. Until next time.